There is good evidence that taking aspirin can help people with known cardiovascular problems, but doctors were unclear if healthier people benefited. Despite the saturated fat, health experts say if you like the way it tastes, it looks, or gives you that feeling of tropical paradise, it's okay, as long as you eat it in moderation and not every day. Coffee is so much more than a drink. It's an experience. It is a morning ritual for millions of Americans. And plus, the health benefits of drinking coffee are pretty impressive. Hi, we are down here at the ice ribbon where Athleta is setting up with preparing some hot chocolate. We got some fire pits going, getting ready for some ice yoga. So I checked in with yoga instructors who teach around the world to see what this means for winter yogis. September is Skincare Awareness Month. Taking care of your skin is a very important thing, but not everyone knows the do's and don'ts when it comes to skincare. So today I'm joined by dermatology PA Savvy Guthrie to talk about the ins and outs of skincare. The EPA does recommend if you have a heart condition or a lung condition to maybe relocate with family or friends or get someplace that's far away from the smoke. And if you're on medication for heart failure, high blood pressure, especially diuretics, ask your doctor if you should adjust the dosages on days that you know you're going to be out in the heat. Are your feet reminding you of the sandals that you wore last weekend? So if you're getting tan lines or burnt, you're probably not protecting those body parts from the sun. So June is Men's Health Month, and it's meant to bring awareness of preventable health problems to the men in your life. So we also want to encourage men to take a hold of their own health by making healthy lifestyle choices. Now, it might not always look pretty. However, cutting out junk food and making space in your diet for some healthy foods, it is possible with a realistic approach and expectations. Rose Beltz, Creme 2 News. It's a really good point. Like the more veggies and the more herbs and you add to your food, one, does it decrease the calories, even more so if you're making this at home, but it really helps against depression. It actually helps fight against, it helps regulate blood sugar. It helps against certain bacteria. It helps boost your immune system, like all sorts of things that we're cooking up here today. Scientists first began studying how weather affects human comfort around the 1960s, about the same time that air conditioning was invented. If your ancestors survived without air conditioning, so can you. Remember when refrigerators were ice boxes that contained actual blocks of ice? One simple bowl of ice can keep you cool 3 different ways. First, you can go old school and make a do-it-yourself air conditioner by putting a bowl of ice in front of the fan. The breeze will pick up some of the nice cool water and create a refreshing mist. Your body regulates its temperature via a small peanut-shaped section of the brain known as the hypothalamus. This region works almost like a thermostat in a home, turning the temperature up or down based on various factors such as how cool or hot the skin is. If you're still feeling hot, you can trick the brain by turning down its thermostat. Wrap the ice, put it on your wrists, your elbows, and your neck. Places where you can feel your pulse because your blood vessels are close to the skin. Cooling down these areas sends signals to your brain, giving it messages that, yeah, I'm cool. It turns out that our feet are actually the best when it comes to getting rid of excess heat in the body. They have a large surface area and specialized blood vessels, thereby allowing more blood to flow. Adding some water and putting your feet into a nice cool foot bath cools the body down and lets you sit back and relax. Whew, that's refreshing. Lastly, you may also want to add a few drops of peppermint essential oil for a cooling effect. The menthol found in the mint triggers the nerves and sends electrical signals to the brain, which creates a sensation of feeling colder. These simple home remedies can help cool you down if you're still feeling the heat. But for some reason, if you still feel like you can't get your body temperature down, you're feeling uncomfortable, and you're feeling sick, you may want to check in with your doctor. Rose Beltz, Creme 2 News.
For the next few minutes, we are going to try to attempt to let you know what it feels like to have dementia.
The staff at the lodge gave detailed instruction before beginning the virtual dementia experience.
We are going to alter your physical and your sensory abilities.
Their goal is to put the mental and physical challenges that people with dementia face into sharper focus.
After we garb you up, get on your equipment, we're going to take you across the hall, which we call the experience room.
We're trying to create awareness we're trying to give people an opportunity to walk in their shoes, because if you walk in their shoes, how much better of a caregiver would you be?
Remove your shoes.
Okay.
And so we're going to insert these in your shoes, and then I'm going to have you put them back on.
The experience began by being outfitted with accessories and devices that simulate specific aspects of dementia. Interesting. Spiked plastic inserts are put in your shoes to mimic what it's like to have neuropathy, or that pins and needles feeling when circulation is cut off from your feet. The gloves cause loss of fine motor skills. They impair mobility and make it difficult to do everyday tasks like buttoning shirts and getting dressed. The glasses simulate macular degeneration and loss of peripheral vision.
I'm going to guide you over to the experience room, and right before I take you in, I'll put on your headphones, okay?
Those headphones restrict and distort hearing and comprehension by filling your ears with loud and distracting noise. Krem was not allowed to bring cameras inside the actual experience room, but a nurse was observing us for behavior and safety the entire time. Once geared up, staff led us to a dimly lit room with flashing lights. Imagine something like a carnival funhouse. Then gave us 5 simple tasks to perform in about 10 minutes. Everyday activities like setting the dinner table, finding and opening your pill bottle, organizing and folding clothes. But I could only remember 3 chores on the list and only completed 1. It took me 8 minutes to belt a pair of pants, and it wasn't easy or fun.
And you know, here was the thing. I was like, it's simple. Why can't I do it? It's simple.
So now you're beating yourself up. You're trying to maneuver out of something that you can't maneuver out of. And you've tried this belt and now it's backwards. And then so they sometimes lash out at their caregivers.
Caregivers fill out a card so that the staff can track and survey your thoughts and feelings before and after the tour, showing just how little most of us understand about dementia. Pat Ferriola thought she had the disease figured out. She took care of her parents who both had dementia 24 years ago.
I thought that I knew how to deal with this.
Right.
Of course, when you live with it 24/7, it's very different.
Very different than understanding and caring for her husband of 44 years who has dementia now.
He has to be prompted and helped with everything and to get out the door on time, just like when you were getting your kids ready to get the school bus. You think that you know what they're going through, or, you know, that they're losing the day-to-day. Sorry.
It's okay.
But you don't know. So you do this. So now my question is, okay, so what can we do to help them?
Until she left her world and stepped into his.
I couldn't see.
Right.
You couldn't concentrate because of the noise that was constantly in your head.
Right.
And it was just frustrating. I mean, I knew, I didn't get the instruction when she told me. I got little pieces of it. You really do have an insight now into a simple task that you're asking them to do. I couldn't do it.
Right.
No wonder he can't do it. You know, you have a different outlook on it. You know, there's that expression, it's not the dementia patient's not giving you a hard time. They're having a hard time.
But many dementia patients don't look sick. Everything seems fine, which makes it hard for caregivers to understand how limited they really are. And that can lead to a cycle of frustration and resentment.
Well, hopefully, I'm going to have more patience, which is something that I hope I have every day. But, you know, when you do it 24/7, your patience runs thin. You try to keep it in check.
And even though Pat leans on 3 different groups for support, they never discussed anything like she experienced today. She is going to encourage doctors and other caregivers to contact the virtual dementia tour, including her own family.
Every caregiver,
Thank you.
professional, family member, they need to do this. I mean, this is, what an eye-opener.
Personally, I did not expect for this experience to affect me the way that it did. We know clinically what the disease is capable of, but now we can get an idea of what patients experience 24 hours a day. This population can often be misunderstood and undervalued, and hopefully this program is a way to bridge the gap. Rose Beltz, Krem 2 News.
You have cancer and you're a pretty healthy guy.
I had to find a chair pretty quick, yeah. I had to sit down. It kind of knocked me for a loop.
About 4 years ago, 51-year-old Ken Child's doctor found a cancerous tumor in his left eye. Doctor successfully removed the tumor and his eye and declared him cancer-free. Ken and his wife Cindy felt optimistic and began to adjust.
You're living a normal life.
I was getting used to one eye and everything, and it just became kind of accepted that one eye's working, so we're just keeping on trucking here.
Ken went back to work, to the outdoors, and enjoying life with his family. And then, about a year later, Ken's cardiologist discovered a new mass in Ken's left lung during a routine physical.
And you felt fine.
Yeah, I felt fine. I was working every day, and what I was feeling was the effect of getting older with a stressful job. That's what I thought I was feeling.
Despite his feelings, the cancer returned. It only took 3 weeks for the cancer to spread to his body and brain.
So now what are you thinking as his wife?
I'm thinking we need to get to an oncologist as soon as possible.
I had no idea that there were tumors or lymph nodes that were on the move. It would have been the last thing, because I'd transitioned so easily with the eye loss, and being told, every 6 months that I'm still clean from cancer, clear from cancer.
Ken began traditional treatments in Utah.
Did the infusions, I did everything that they needed me to do at that point.
In spite of his best efforts, the treatment was not working. He says his doctors prescribed him a chemo pill and gave him 6 months to a year to live.
Now that was devastating. It was to the point where I couldn't even find words for that. I didn't know what to think, I didn't know what to feel, I didn't know what to do for probably 2 weeks. I was just numb. The more they'd look at it, the more they'd find. The news wasn't getting better.
We're thinking, how are we going to tell the kids?
Or if we should.
Or if we should tell the kids. That was a really hard decision, but we ended up telling the kids because we felt like they needed to know. We kind of lost all hope for a minute.
But they did not accept Ken's odds much longer. They switched gears and started to look for other options to attack the cancer. They heard exciting things were going on in Arizona.
I had gotten in touch with the Cancer Center of America, and they got back to me the next day. I didn't expect them to take our insurance because it was out of network. We got a call the next morning, and they said they did, and they'd have us on a flight over there within the week.
We can ultrasound this one and see.
And were introduced to oncologist Dr. Alan Tan and technology that was different from what Ken was receiving.
The efficacy in uveal melanoma.
Dr. Tan's having success using the herpes virus to attack aggressive cancer cells like Ken's stage 4 melanoma. It's not the same virus that's associated with a cold sore or as a sexually transmitted infection. The virus has been genetically modified and altered so it can safely be injected into a tumor and help the body attack the cancer cells.
It may sound complicated, but in a nutshell, we're trying to get the immune system to recognize the cancer, whereas at the present time, the cancer may look invisible to the immune system because it's not releasing certain proteins or what we call tumor-associated antigens.
Meaning, the herpes virus known as the T-VEC treatment kills cancer in 2 ways. It stops the cancer from infecting healthy cells and kickstarts the body's immune response against the harmful cells. The immune system then develops an enhanced ability to detect and attack cancer throughout the body. Similar to what happens when you get exposed to chickenpox and you don't get chickenpox again. The cells will remember that protein and destroy it the next time it shows up in the body. So far, the T-VEC therapy has shrunk the tumor on the outside of Ken's head, and he's praying for more.
If it's working on the visible ones, then, hope to God that it's working on the inside ones.
Ken unfortunately has a really difficult melanoma. It's not the skin type, it's the ocular or uveal melanoma, and these traditionally don't respond to these modern day immunotherapy drugs. I have hopes that he may, have more benefit than others.
Hope can be difficult to hold on to sometimes, but the odds are improving when it comes to some cancers.
10 years ago, I would be able to offer very little. I can give you this, give you that, and then after that, it's probably just, comfort care. Now I can tell people my intent is cure. We might not always get there, but we're always going to have options down the line.
Even though life looks more promising now, Ken knows he still has a long road ahead of him and is making the most of his time. He and his wife Cindy left Utah and downsized to a motorhome so they can travel and spend time with their kids and grandchildren who live between Spokane and Post Falls.
If I believe you have to believe in living in order to live, and when you're being told that you're not going to and there's nothing else that just kicks the wind right out of your sails.
Ken hopes that sharing his story will help give other cancer patients the hope and answers they need.
I might be gone in 2-3 years, I might be gone in a year, I might be gone in 10 years. I don't know, but I know I'm digging my feet in deep right now.